cover a couple of course-related things, and this is for anybody who's not here today. Guys, my plan is to finish Chapter 4 today so that we have some sort of sense of normality. For anybody who's not with us, they'll be able to get the notes online. So we're going to be covering that as a normal class. But we're going to take some time in setting up how we're going to handle these things, guys. As you saw in the announcement yesterday, we're going to be going online at least from now until the 30th of March. That's the first target. What they're saying to us is they're going to reevaluate the situation the week, basically 2 weeks from now, to see how society writ large is doing with all this. We're getting more cases. Can we safely return to classes on the 30th? I'm not saying what I think will happen. I'm not optimistic that's going to happen, just based on the amount of time that we've seen this outbreak has taken to kind of resolve in other countries. So I think we should be prepared if we have to do the rest of the semester online. I hope we're back in class on the 30th, but I'm definitely not going to say that I think we will be. We're going to cover more how we're going to deal with this stuff here momentarily. But just a couple of reminders, guys. The rate of return assignment, I'll be starting to grade those today. A few of you used your actual stock portfolios for this. You should have been using the information that I provided to you in the exercise. So, and I'll put this in email for everybody too. I'm giving everybody an opportunity to resubmit for this assignment, and a few folks were having some trouble with the numbers. So I'm going to send out some guidance on the rate of return. If you did not submit the assignment, please submit it. I'm not even going to give you a late penalty. If you submitted it using information from your own portfolio, please resubmit it with the information that I provided. Guys, also, your handshake profiles. Next week, when I'm up here by myself, I'll be evaluating those as well. If you have not submitted one yet, please do so. Now, let's get into to what we're talking about here. How are we going to deal with class over the next couple of weeks? Guys, my plan is as follows. There's a tool within Canvas called the Conferences tool. My plan is to teach this class at its normal time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and to do it live with you guys. Now, I am going to be recording. How many of you are in time zones other than East Coast? Is anybody in a different time zone? Well, if you cannot make it to class, I'm going to leave that on you. I am, however, going to maintain a class structure as though we were still meeting face-to-face. I'm going to show you the conference tool in a minute to show you how you can use that. And I will be recording the sessions. If you don't make it, you can still listen to the recording. I may also add some discussion boards as well. That's an easy way for you guys to earn some points so I can see that you're talking about the material. Has anybody ever used the Conferences tool in Canvas before? All right. If you've got your laptops, I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and bring them up. I'm going to show you how this tool works. And I've already set up conferences for the rest of our time between now and the 30th. So if you would like, go ahead and bring up your laptop. Okay, when you get into your Canvas session, you can see over here on the left-hand side there's a tab that says Conferences. When you click on that, I've got a list of conferences already up. You should be able to see those available. All you're literally going to have to do is to click on whatever conference. If you don't see them yet, it's because I haven't started them. I'll be online probably 10 minutes before 9 every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll start the conference, and essentially what you guys are going to do is come into the conference. I'll create one for you so you can see how this actually works. So I'm going to create a test conference for you. But for example, on Monday, or I'm sorry, not Monday because we're not starting until next Wednesday, you're going to click on the 318 conference whenever I make it live. Let's go ahead and do kind of a mock-up conference. We're going to call this Test 2. So right now, I just created a conference called Test 2. I'm going to start it. And what you guys should be able to do momentarily is to be able to access Test 2. Now you're going to have a couple of options when we bring this up. You're going to have the option of either joining over microphone, if you've got a microphone. I'm going to recommend to you guys, Headsets work better than speakers for this. So if you got a set of earbuds or a headset, I'm going to ask that you use that. And you can either use your microphone on your computer, or you can actually join via telephone. So if you click on join via phone, it'll give you a number to call. So it'll give you the phone number, it'll give you a PIN. Particularly for those of you who are going to be international, I think it makes a lot more sense to use the online option. When we get into this, essentially what I'll be able to do, guys, is to be able to add a PowerPoint presentation. You'll be able to see what we're talking about. So let's just, for sake of the demonstration, I'll upload a presentation for you. And let's see here. This happens to be a presentation that I did for one of my MBA classes on citations. So we're going to upload a PowerPoint so you're able to see it. You're going to be able to hear me over the microphone, and you're going to be able to have your headphones on and interact. If you want to use texting, for example, you can do that through the app itself, or you can ask me questions. Give it a second while we upload the PowerPoint. It takes a second to upload it. Is everybody able to get in okay? Are you able to see it? You're already hearing me. All right, so say for example, I have this PowerPoint presentation up. If you wanted to ask a question, you could do so in chat. Is everybody able to see that? Chat. So if you wanted to, you could set, somebody actually just text into the chat window. We're getting an echo because I'm presenting right next to you right now. But for example, here we go. You guys are able to see in there. So I encourage you can ask questions that way. You can ask questions over the microphone. You can use your phone if you come in over telephone. Whatever works best for you is what I'm going to ask you to do. Now I am going to be, as I said before, I'm going to be maintaining my normal schedule. If you're able, I would love for you to be in my class during our normal time together so we maintain a routine so that when we return to campus, if we return to campus this semester, that we have not broken that routine. If you're not able to maintain that routine, I will be recording these. You can get to the lecture recordings if you go back to conferences. So let's say, for example, I'm going to end this conference. We're going to record this right now, and we're going to end the conference. Once I've ended the meeting, it takes about 10 minutes for it to process. And under conferences, when you go to the conferences tab, you'll see recordings of past meetings. So for example, test 2, it says in progress. We'll end that. And after a period of time, if you click on concluded conferences, you'll be able to watch that. So if you're able to join me in real time, I would love it if you would. If you cannot, I'm going to ask that you watch the recording. We're going to do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday like it's a normal class. You guys with me so far? Guys, this is, I feel the need to share this. This is a situation that is something I don't think any of us have ever been through before. And so we're going to be improvising. We're going to be seeing what works and what doesn't. My gut feeling is I think there's a good chance we'll do the rest of the semester this way. I hope not. I hope we're back in class on the 30th. I have no way of predicting that. Before we get into any material today, guys, what questions can I try to answer for you? Questions or concerns? Yes, sir.
Is this going to change anything about our group project at all?
Well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up. We're still going to do the group project, so I'm going to encourage that you probably need to find some kind of means of keeping in touch with the other members of your group, whether it's email, whether it is chat, whether it's text, because we are still going to do the stop game. We may increase the deadline. We may push the deadline back to make sure that you guys are able to connect. What I also might do, because I only provided each group with one copy of that A-grade paper, I'll probably email a digital copy out to everybody so you've all got a copy of it. That'll be the first time I've ever done that. Does that make sense? That's a great question. Are there other questions? Yes, sir.
So Monday and Tuesday next week, there's no class.
We're not going to meet next Monday or Tuesday. No classes at all. We start back on Wednesday. Yes, sir.
Lose points for missing a day, right?
I'm leaving that on you guys. I can't take attendance in this way. The way I'll be taking attendance is by getting into what they call the statistics tool in Canvas. So I'll know if you're spending time in the course. I'll know if you've watched it. I'm basically asking you, even if you're not attending class, to watch the video. I would prefer, honestly, if you would attend, just because that way we're maintaining our class structure. But I can't make you do that. Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's like a session joint thing.
It is.
So like, do you want us to have webcams or should we?
Webcams aren't necessary.
I'll just make sure because I only use my desktop computer.
Yeah, webcams aren't necessary. What I am going to recommend, and I'll put this all in writing for you guys later today too, please have headphones. What happens is, you notice how we were getting the echo effect in the room? That happens a lot of the time when you're doing online video as well. And so what we have is essentially if everybody has headphones, it'll make it much cleaner for everybody. That makes sense, guys? Yes, what? I'm sorry? So how are we doing exams? The good news is since we have already done online testing, we're pretty well set up to continue that trend. What I may do for this one, I'm undecided if I'm going to require a lockdown browser for tests outside of the class. But the good news is because you are outside of this classroom, if you've taken notes, if you have a textbook, I have no way of knowing if you have that with you or not. And so I think testing might be easier for some folks on this regard. But the good news is since we've already done online testing, that should remain the same. Other questions, guys? Again, I will recap all this to you in an email later today so that everybody in our class, including the folks who are not here with us today, can also take advantage of that. Other questions, guys? Before we get into the remaining material for today, guys, you have like my 100% commitment that I'm going to do whatever I can do to make this class as good as we can make it in whatever form we have to do it in. I'm going to be here Monday through Friday during the week. I will be in my office during normal working hours. If you need me, you can call me. My number is in the directory. Yes?
I heard they're closing all the school buildings. Right? Oh, like SWA.
Now we're being told to report. So St. Francis is open for business. So literally, my daily life will not change. I will be in the office. The administration will be open. None of that has changed yet. So, other questions, guys? Okay. Just to recap, guys, we're going to meet at normal class time Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I will be recording the sessions. I prefer that you join us, but if you can't, that's okay. I will be recording the classes. I will possibly add some additional discussion postings as we need. For anybody who got here late, just a reminder, the rate of return assignment is overdue. If you have not submitted it yet, please do so. If you submitted it and you used information off of your personal portfolio, please resubmit. We will start all of this stuff in the new way of existing next Wednesday. Last chance for questions at this point. Going once. Going twice. Guys, thank you for rolling with the punches. This is new territory for all of us. So guys, the stock game is continuing. Make sure you're staying in touch with each other. I'll be sending out additional guidance as well. We're very quickly going to move through the remainder of our conversation on ethics. We left off talking a little bit about green energy and the idea that nonprofits and renewable businesses are creating a lot of business opportunities right now. It's ironic because right now, in terms of the industry as a whole, we're seeing all kinds of slowdowns, obviously, because of the coronavirus. Because where is most of this technology manufactured? China, exactly right. So although we had an expansion of the green economy in the last couple of years, we've kind of lacked out on that. Now, you may ask yourself, because we talked about what ethics is all about, we have different ways we determine if a company is ethical. From your own opinion, guys, because this is the last time we'll be having conversations together for a little while. How do you know if a company is ethical or not? Yes? That's exactly right. Does anybody know what we call that concept? If a company's open, what do we say they are? something you can see through is
Transparent.
transparency. Absolutely right. So our company's transparent. What are other ways we can tell if a company's good or evil? What else jumps out in your mind? Any thoughts?
How much money they donate?
That's a great point. So are companies charitable? Are they giving out part of their earnings in terms of being socially responsible? Well, we have other ways that we see if the companies are good as well. We have what we refer to as socially conscious investors. That means people won't invest in your company unless they believe you're doing good. Socially conscious research organizations are companies that basically do research on charities and on companies to see if they're actually donating a lot of money. Guys, who here has ever heard of the Susan B. Cohen Foundation? Do you know what they support? Breast
cancer.
Breast cancer. Well, it turned out when you see where the average dollar of donations is going to Susan B. Cohen, it was something like 10 cents on the dollar was actually making it to the donation. They had so much overhead. They were essentially making money on that. Who here has ever seen a color run, by the way? Color runs, they're feel-good events, aren't they? Well, here's the trick. The company that does color runs is a for-profit organization. They actually set those things up for a fee. Now, they do give money to charity, but they are doing those events and organizing those events as money makers. So even though they support charities, sometimes we don't know how these charities are really made up. Environmentalists always want to know if you're Greenpeace or if you're somebody who supports high mileage cars, how environmentally conscious is a company? If you're a union official, unions want to make sure that people are safe. And finally, customers, people who make the decision to buy or not. If the company has treated the environment well, they seem like an ethical company, maybe I'll do business with them, and maybe I won't do business with people who won't. A lot of this stuff came out of the 70s, guys. And we started realizing we were doing business in countries, for example, that had business practices that were not consistent with our ethics and morals. And in the 1970s, under the Carter administration, it became illegal to pay bribes to foreign countries to do business. It still happens, but that's when ethical awareness in that regard really started. Now, we've had a few laws that are supposed to keep us in line, that are supposed to support us in terms of protecting international workers. For example, Bangladesh had something called the Labor Act. If you recall about the factory we talked about earlier in the week where people burned to death for being locked in, Bangladesh is trying to say we're protecting our people. All of these are ways in which we're trying to have fair trade, fair labor, make sure we're not exploiting people. But it's really tough to track compliance on all this stuff. It's really tough to make sure that the companies are being as ethical as they say they are. How, for example, do I have any control over how Nike runs a factory, guys? Do I? Yes.
You stop buying a product.
I can stop buying Nike. Do I have a reasonable alternative
Get other brands.
that are probably made in sweatshops too? But you're absolutely right. I can make a statement. There was a coach actually who coached for St. John's, and he was a soccer coach. And they wanted him to wear a shirt with a Nike logo on. He refused. He said, I won't wear Nike. I won't represent their brand. I know how their factories are run. So they fired him. He actually did a documentary where he went to, I think it was Malaysia, and lived on the salary of a Nike worker for 30 days to see how hard it would be. And it's a really, really good documentary. You can find it on YouTube. It's called Behind the Swoosh. These are tough things for us to think about, though, guys. Because, again, we're sometimes applying our standards to other countries, and it's not always simple. We're going to play a little game here, guys, called What Would You Do? It's an ethics game. You're a junior accountant. You just got your first job at Francis & Company, and you noticed there's some irregularities in the ledger sheets. Money seems to be going places where maybe it ought not go. You report these to your supervisor, and they tell you not to worry about it. What would you do? Great. So you could blow the whistle, or you could quit if you didn't want to be there. Absolutely. Are there risks to you in that situation? What are some of the risks?
Like, I guess if they're like a big enough company, then we could just tell other companies in here, hire this guy.
It could absolutely happen. When I say this stuff, guys, I'm never telling you that being ethical is the easiest thing to do, even if it's the right thing to do. If you decide to stay with that company, that supervisor could bring hell down on your head. We could have people who are causing problems or blackballing your name in the local industry. Ultimately, what you have to decide in that situation If you know something is wrong, can you live with not saying anything about it? That's an example of a very difficult situation. All right, you're a clerk in a business department, and you just got an expense receipt from somebody who's been traveling. This guy's name is Bill. And it looks like Bill's been eating 2 dinners every time he's going out to dinner on the company. And he asks you to sign off on his expense report. What are you going to do? I live here from this side. Are you signing off or not? What do you think, Nicole?
Probably not, because that's supposed to be first off. I don't know if you'll have to pull this off.
What does it appear that he's doing?
Like stealing money, basically.
He's definitely stealing, but he's probably having dinner with somebody else. He's buying dinner for somebody who doesn't work for the company. Maybe he's got a date or something, and he's trying to get you to sign off to make sure you're putting his thumbprint. Guilt by association. Very good. All right, we got a very complex situation here. Carol. Carol's been showing up late every day where you work. You guys both work at a Taco Bell. She's sneaking out 5 to 10 minutes early, about 3 to 5 days a week, and you're stuck closing out every single day. Well, you also find out, anecdotally, that her child has a life-threatening illness, and you think that she's probably leaving early to take her kid to treatments. What do you do? Yes.
Well, I would figure out if that's the case first. If that's the case, the boss probably should have heard about that before. Like, it'd be unethical for the boss to not let her leave early. At least give you a heads up saying, "Hey, can you take this?" Whatever. And if she was just leaving and I heard nothing about it, I'd probably just leave for work.
I agree with your statements, and I don't think there's anything wrong. If somebody's putting you in a situation where you're being faced with more work, it sucks that her kid has a life-threatening illness. And I'm not saying compassion isn't warranted. You have every right to ask this person, look, what's going on? You're really sticking me with the short end of the stick here. It's not ethical to let somebody get away with not working either, because other people pay the price for that. All right, we got this situation. You got a report the boss has been asking for days, and you just got the last information to put into this report. You just got the last part of it. The boss wants it now, and he's leaving on a plane in 10 minutes. You haven't had a chance to review this stuff. You haven't had a chance to edit it. You haven't had a chance to do anything. Anthony, what do you think? What would you do? You let him get on the plane with that report or not?
No.
I agree with you. What would be a possible response in this situation?
Like, it's problems too.
What would you,
Like,
what would you say to the boss about this?
like, it's not ready.
Exactly right. Honesty is the best policy. Why put yourself in a situation where you're going to be in a bad... Yes?
Why can't, like, when the boss tells him where he going, why can't you just, like, fix it to him?
You could. I mean, this person literally wants to read it on the flight. They literally want to read it on the flight. Yes?
He said to him when he on the flight, but can't get it right now.
Well, that's exactly right. You're being honest. Yeah.
I think it also makes sense just give them what you know is accurate and say this is all we have so far.
Exactly right. Don't put your thumbprint on it and say, this is finished, you can take it to the bank. Even if they're going to be upset with you, it's better to be honest than to give them false expectations. All right, you're studying for tests in all 4 classes. All of them are hard. The student in the hall has a copy of Tompkins' test. What are you going to do?
Are you asking rules or what's happening?
What? Actually, both. What would you do and what's ethical?
Oh, no, I'm taking it, but no, it's not right though. I'm taking it.
It's not right, but you're doing it anyway. We have little crimes happening here. The ideal response is you wouldn't look at it. Absolutely. We get a call for a reference on this guy. This is your coworker, and you hate working with this guy. He makes your entire life more miserable all the time, and he's trying to get a job somewhere else, so you don't have to work with him anymore. And he lists you as a reference. The reference calls you and asks you, what do you think about this guy? What are you going to say? I'm sorry?
Just be honest about it.
That's exactly the right answer.
He's a nice guy.
Why? Get rid of him, right? Why would you be honest?
Well, I mean, one, he put me out as a reference without letting me know. Like, obviously, like in this situation, he wouldn't have asked if I wanted to be his reference because, like, I assume the person would just say no.
So like he wanted to put me as a reference.
Good answer.
I just not if I don't like him, I'm not gonna lie to a company about it.
Because what would happen later on potentially to you?
It would make me look bad if he ever screws up in that company because I gave my approval that I think he's a good person, a good employee.
Exactly right. We are the people we associate with. I encourage you guys, for example, when you get a friend request on LinkedIn or Handshake, if it's somebody you don't actually like or want to professionally associate with, don't put them on your list, because you are the company you keep. The statements you make about somebody will come back on you. Absolutely. Guys, we're going to do a brief review of this chapter before I send you to have safe trips home. And I'm going to do a brief recap at the end just to make sure we're all on the same page. But guys, here's our first question. We're going to start off with our bonus question. What car exploded when we were at it? I'm sorry? A Ford Pinto. Look at this beautiful automobile. A fraud by paying returns to existing investors from funds contributed by new investors. Yes? It is a Ponzi scheme. Emphasizing the prevention of unlawful behavior by increasing control and preventing wrongdoing is an integrity-based ethics code. Is that true or false?
True.
That is false. What kind of ethics code is it? It's compliance-based. People who report illegal or unethical behavior, do we call them squeaky wheels, snitches, double agents, or whistleblowers? Whistleblowers, you got it. True or false? Letting a coworker slack on the job is probably ethical so long as you're doing your job. Yeah, they're going to screw you in the long run, and everybody else. The concern businesses have for the welfare of society is that philanthropy, social initiative, social responsibility, or ethics. C is correct. You guys got this. Which of the following is not one of Kennedy's basic rights of consumers? We got a guess for C? It is actually C. It's the right to compete, because we're talking about the safety of consumers here. What dolls' hair were pulled from the market for eating? What dolls were pulled from the market for eating children's hair? Look at these terrible tools of the devil. These things are terrifying. Like that's nightmare fuel. Trying to make products appear more environmentally friendly than they may actually be. I don't know if I mentioned this in class. It is greenwashing. That's it, guys. Guys, before you go, a couple of things. When is our class meeting? Normal time. You're going to go in under canvas. If you make it, that's great. If you don't, I understand. I would prefer if you did join us. Yes, sir. Yeah, we're going to start on Wednesday. We're going to be starting on Wednesday. The plan is we're hoping we'll be back here on March 30th. I'm not optimistic, but it would be awesome if we could. A couple of things, guys. Don't forget, if you did not submit your handshake, submit it. If you didn't submit rate of return, submit it. If you used your existing portfolio to do the rate of return and not the information I provided, resubmit it. We're going to be improvising as we get through the next couple of weeks. Take immaculate care of yourselves, guys. I'm going to be here 5 days a week. Call me, email me, however you need. By all means, be safe. All right? I hope to see you soon.